Today we're going to be talking about wheels, setup, and making some adjustments. Well, the kit comes with bushings for the front wheels. You can use those. You just got to remember they rub on the hub. So when you tighten your nut, you make sure you don't put it all the way up against the wheel. You have a little bit of slack. That way you have less friction. What I like to do is upgrade this to bearings. I'll give you a part number in the description of these little brass washers. They're really tiny. They come in a pack, I think, of 50. What you want to do is find a little sharp edge. I don't think this really matters that much, but this is just something I do. And you put the sharp edge facing towards the hub. The washer is small enough to where it'll hit on the bearing inner race, but not on the outer race. And it allows the outer race to not hit the hub while it's turning. But if you don't put that on there, that's exactly what's going to happen. Your outer race is going to hit the hub and it's going to cause you some friction. You're going to put that on there first, going to slide your wheels on, going to put another one on there, and then your kit comes with a special nut. The reason why they're special is because they're thin. They're not very thick. They're probably about half the thickness of a standard nut, and you're going to put that on. The reason why these are thinner nuts because it allows you to have the two washers, one on each side, your bearings and all that on there, and the locking part of the nut will still engage in the threads, and you want to make sure that happens because you don't want your wheel to come off. You're going to tighten them down until you have just a little bit of play. When you have just a little bit, that's all you need. Wheel free spins. If you have any friction when you turn the wheel, it's going to stop really fast. It's not going to keep spinning. That's a good sign of that. Now when you get your new wheels on here, you're going to want to add super glue to the side walls. I like to come over the edge of the side wall just a little bit. I'm running on black carpet. Might be different if you're running in gray carpet, but as far as I understand, black carpet has a high traction. You're going to want to come over the edge about 1/4 of an inch on your tire when you're gluing them up. It's going to look a lot like that. If you do this on your new tire, it'll last a long time. You don't have to turn the tire down if you do this. It's just that easy. A lot of people turn the tire down because it reduces the sidewall thickness, and reducing that sidewall thickness also reduces traction rolling. Just simply use glue on the outer edge. You won't have to worry about it traction rolling. If you do traction roll, you can just add a little more glue. That's all you have to do. When you're racing, you're going to find out that from the first race to the last race, traction is going to pick up on the track a lot. So if you start seeing in your second race that you're coming up on the right side a little bit, or you're starting to traction roll here and there, that's how you know you can add some glue for your following race. You're going to add the glue to both sides the same way. If you're only racing oval, the left side's not that important. You can literally race the race without the left side wheel. That's how important it is. One other thing I want to point out is if this nut is loose going on, if it gets really easy to put this nut on, then replace it. Because what has happened is the nylon has worn down so much from taking it off and on that it's not going to hold on the wheel. It's going to come off in the middle of your race. So make sure you remember that. If you put those on and you notice that they're really easy to go on, change them out. Don't take a chance. So on your rear axle, what you're looking at as far as adjusting it, you have bushings on this side. You can adjust the hub further out or further in if you want to. You don't really have much adjustment on this side. You can add bushings if you want, but then you're going to have problems with your gear engaging. So generally speaking, you don't have much adjustment here on the gear side. The way you want to adjust this rear end is you want to have 7/16 nut driver. You're going to adjust this nut on this side until it basically tightens up on your hub. You're not going to torque it down because you really want it to be right on the edge of the gear slipping. And what that's going to do is give you a maximum ability to be able to turn and these two axles work in opposite positions like that very easily and still be able to put power down to the track. So what I do is I adjust it down till it stops, and then I turn on my radio. When I go to the races, I set it on the track when I first start, and then I adjust this and check it, make sure it's right. Loosen it up until it starts slipping, and then you're going to tighten it back up just a little bit at a time to right above the edge of it slipping. As soon as it stops slipping, you stop. And that's going to give you a maximum adjustment on this, so you get the most amount of traction and you also don't have any pushing issues. If you over tighten this just a little bit too much, when you give it the throttle, it's going to want to shoot off to the right, or it's going to push through the turns. with your radio on and all your adjustments set to 0, except for the adjustments on your servo where you centered it up and installing the steering linkage in the previous video. If you want to know how to do that, that's in part 2. You want to take your ruler, put it on your back wheel and bring it up to the front wheel. You're going to look at the gap from the front of the wheel to the ruler to the back of the wheel to the ruler, and you want it to be about 1/8 of an inch off on the back of the wheel from the ruler. That gives you about 1 degree, 1.5 degree or so of toe out. So in other words, you want the front of the wheel to be closer than the back of the wheel. It's going to be 1/8 to about 1/16 of an inch. And you're going to do the same thing on the other side. And you're going to look at the gap between there on this wheel. Same thing. You're going to look for about 1/8 to 1/16 of an inch. Now once you have this adjusted about the same, you're going to take it out to the track and you're going to set your track. Once you set your tracking, the car is going to naturally want to go to the center of your adjustment. If you take this back after you're done and you check with your ruler, you'll see that it's even from one side to the other. It's the same amount on both sides. Once you check it again after you've done your tracking and it's 1/8 to 1/16 of an inch, then you have it done. It's set. You're good to go. If not, you need to come in on your turnbuckles just a little bit, and that way you have your adjustment. When you set your endpoints, you need to make sure this wheel on the back side isn't too close to this lower A-arm. You need it to be about 3/8 of an inch from it, because if you have the wheel turned like this and then you hit the wall or somebody hits you, that wheel jerks like that and it'll hit that frame, and you'll find the back of your wheel getting messed up. If you ever see the back of your wheel getting messed up, it's hitting on that lower frame right there. That's what's causing it. So you want to make sure your steering is the same on both sides. You don't need any more than that. One other thing that's special about this type of car or these type of wheels, you never want to leave them sitting flat for a long period of time. If you do, they'll get flat spots on them. Try and keep them stored, even if you have to store them like that. That's perfectly fine. When you're at the track, you're going to make sure that you clean them really well. You're going to use brake cleaner, or you can use WD-40. Either one works pretty good. I like to use brake cleaner whenever I'm putting my glue on, because I want to make sure that there's no oily surface for the glue to not stick to the wheel. But after that, I'll use WD-40 most of the time to clean the wheel. I think it works a little bit better than brake cleaner actually. And then you're going to fully sauce the tires. If you clean your wheels really well in the beginning before you race and sauce the tires properly, you don't have to sauce the tires all night. I never sauce them the rest of the races. Traction will actually pick up on the track anyway, and that's the key to it. So you sauce them once, gives you good traction on your first race, gives you a good idea of what it's going to be the rest of the night. Now I'm going to talk about the rim rings. These are basically bumpers for your wheels. I mean, it's just that simple. When you have to glue the sidewalls of your wheels, you don't have anything but the wheel hitting the wall, you're going to get chunks. This super glue is going to break off in pieces. You're going to basically destroy it outside of your wheel. It's unbelievable how many times you hit the wall or hit other people when you're racing, but you do. Especially when you're road course, you're going to hit the wall a lot. Congratulations, you made it to the end. If you need any more information, go to limeracingproducts.com. If you would, please support my channel, like and subscribe. I plan on posting a video on the rim rings and installing them. Thanks for all your support. Y'all have a great day. See you next time. There you go.